Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Today we have a 60-minute Hatha class coming your way, open to all levels, beginner friendly, no props needed, full body. My name is Kaycie, this is my lovely assistant Logan. Let's jump in. All right, today we're gonna start off on our backs, nice, easy, leisurely. So go ahead and make your way down into a nice reclined position. And as you do, I want you to feel comfortable ultimately, so whatever feels good in your body, take that variation. I'll give you some options if that helps. Maybe your legs stretch outward, slightly off the mat, and just kind of letting your body fall into whatever natural shape it takes. All the limbs spilled out away from the midline of your body. And just let yourself sink in. If you want other options, such as some hip opening, you can draw the soles of your feet together. Let the knees open up wide into a butterfly position. But if that causes tension into the hips, that's not what we're looking for. We want you to be relaxed. Take it only if it feels good. Otherwise, last option I'll give you here, keep the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Walk the feet out away from each other slightly, and then let the knees rest in on each other, creating a little broadening in the lower back space. A little bit of a release. If that feels good, take it. Find the variation that works for you. So once you've settled into that variation, just let your eyes close, relax your jaw, relax your eyebrows, the space between. Let the forehead muscles soften. And just allow your entire body to just kind of fall and surrender with gravity, feeling held and supported by the ground. And just take note of yourself here. Oftentimes when we start the yoga practice, we're not necessarily ready to just drop fully in. We need a little time to kind of saturate and feel ourselves drop into the practice, layer by layer. So in this moment, as you disengage every single muscle, be conscious of that muscle. And then feel any tension or any holding on, any tightness, slowly just start to trickle out of your body. Feeling more surrendered in your physical self. And as your body relaxes, our mind's natural response is to start becoming a little more active. So begin to process and recognize the thoughts that are bouncing around right now in your mind. And as you observe the activity of your mind, just slowly start to soften your grip or attachment over these thoughts. Feeling a sense of ease start to come into the mind. Feeling more calm, more aware, more present. And then begin to notice your breath. I like to think about the breath as the connection between your inner world and the outer world. So we're going to strengthen that connection. If the mouth is open, just gently seal the lips. Keep the jaw relaxed. And we'll all begin together with a nice cleansing exhale. Release all the breath out of your lungs, fully and completely out. Now, at the base of that breath, slow and steadily, start to breathe in through the nose and expand the breath open into your belly, expanding through the diaphragm. Lift the breath up into your lower rib cage and then feel it gradually rise all the way up into your chest, your shoulders, your upper back starts to expand all directions, you're opening. Hold the breath at the very top so you're giving the lungs a big stretch, because you are. And this time we are going to open our mouth. And just exhale, let it all the way out. Push out that stagnation. And then seal the lips again, slow breath in from the bottom, opening in all directions, lifting the breath gradually up to the ribs, all the way up to the chest. Imagine you're expanding like a barrel all the way to the throat, and you hold it here, retain the breath. You might even feel your heartbeat start to feel a little more amplified. And then open your mouth, exhale, let it all the way out. We're going to do that again. This time we're going to keep the breath through the nose the whole time. Slow inhale from the bottom all the way up. I like the visual of a water balloon, how it expands before it lifts, and fills. Lifting all the way up and out, holding at the top of the breath. This time, keeping the breath through the nose, we're gonna empty just as slowly through the nose from the top, through the ribs, all the way out through the belly and lower back as everything cinches back in towards the midline. Now go ahead and take a couple more of those completely on your own, feeling your own rhythm and pace. And anytime throughout this practice today, if my cues move a little bit quickly, or if you feel that you need a modification or something doesn't feel right in your body, I will always encourage you to take the variations that feel better or to take rest as often as you'd like. This is your practice. I am simply here to present guidance. Finding your rhythm. Now, after you've gotten those couple of breaths kind of circulating through the body, relax the control and effort over your breath just a little bit so it feels a little more natural and at ease, a little less forceful. And as you drop into more of this steady and rhythmic cadence, we're gonna come into what's called Ujjayi breath. Now, if you've done yoga in the past, this is probably a familiar breathing technique, but if not, keeping the mouth closed, just imagine that you're starting to create the sensation of fogging up a mirror, but your mouth is closed. So instead of the with the mouth open, you're still creating that same HA sound, but with the lips sealed and feeling the breath pass down the back of your throat. So go ahead and give that a few rounds on your own, just starting to lightly stimulate that Ujjayi breathing. And if it doesn't come quite naturally right now, don't worry. That's why it's called practice. You just show up, do what you can. Now we're going to maintain this breath as much as we can throughout the practice to kind of regulate, smooth the breath, and to release any extra trapped heat that we may have in the body at any time. But today's class should be fairly mellow. So let's go ahead and give little movements to the fingers and toes, whatever position they're in. Maintain your breath, but keep it nice and smooth, unforced. Now, depending on the variation of your legs, maybe separate the knees or bring the knees together. If you need to use your hands, use the hands for assistance. And then we're all going to stretch the legs forward in front of us, nice and long out onto the mat. And with your legs stretched outward in front of you, begin to stretch your arms over your head. From fingertips to toes, you're as long as you could possibly be, stretching in opposite directions, feeling as much length from the center, reaching back and stretching forward. Maybe give a little shift in your hips here, feeling your left hip point lift a little bit, and then your right, and switch it out. Nice, and then let's hug the knees into the chest. Let the arms wrap around shins, knees, or thighs. It doesn't really matter, just drawing them in. And a couple sways side to side, just feeling the back body against the ground. As you rock back to center, we're going to keep the knees bent, but go ahead and plant the feet down to the ground. Crossing right ankle over the left thigh. Coming into a little figure 4 position. Now there's plenty of variations you can take on this, and we're just going to take it step by step. So take your right hand to the inside of that right thigh and just kind of start pumping it forward and back. So you're opening that thigh away from you, almost like a hinge on a door. It's kind of rolling open and then swinging back in. And you're just kind of feeling that general flexibility in your hip today. Depending on if it's the start of your day or the end of your day, you might be feeling a little differently in your body. Okay. And then let's go ahead and finish off here by just pressing the thigh away from you into this nice external rotation in the hip. Now this might be enough and all you need. And if that's the case, please just stay right here. Otherwise, if you want to go a little deeper, let's go ahead and release that thigh with the hand. And then you're going to lift your left foot off the ground and start bringing the legs closer towards your chest. This is when you can start to weave your hands through around the left thigh either holding onto the thigh, or if it's accessible, you can even connect your hands all the way around the front of that left shin bone. Now from here, what I want you to avoid is letting the hips curl up off the ground. So especially when the hips are really tight, it's super easy for the hips to start lifting up with you. And I want you to ground down through the sacrum, even if that means backing out of the stretch. So ultimately, we want the back to be nice and flat against the ground, which is going to allow the full extent of the stretch to go exactly where we want it to go, which is that outer hip and into the glutes. So as you hold this position, just draw in as much as it feels okay for you. We're not taking ourselves to the point of feeling, too much intensity. We're still easing into our bodies. So relax some tension from your shoulders, relax the tension from your face. Make sure you can still take really expansive breaths in and out of the nose. Give yourself just a few more here. But if you did want to add just a little bit more, feel free to let your legs shift just a couple inches to the left side. And you'll notice just that little micro adjustment makes a huge difference in sensation. But if you're already feeling enough sensation, stay right where you are. One more deep breath. Stay in that Ujjayi breath. Nice audible ocean wave sound. Now if the legs did shift a little over to the side, let's bring it back to center first. You're going to keep the legs crossed as they are. Gently release, let the left foot touch down to the ground. Keep the ankle stacked over the thigh. Now from here, we're going to open the arms out to a T, so straight out from your shoulders. Now the foot that's currently on the ground, we're just going to start to walk it over towards the left side of the mat. Now keep walking it over until it touches the edge of the mat. If you need to walk it a little bit more, you can, but you're going to slowly start letting the legs tip over to the right side. Once again, if you need to walk that left foot off the mat a little bit to create more space, do so until you can kind of settle into this shape where the right foot's on top of that left thigh as both knees are tilted to that right side. And you'll feel this nice lift in your lower back and a nice elongation through the side. Now, if this creates any tension for you, whether it's your back, your knees, your ankles, your hips, go ahead and just place the right foot down onto the ground. Doesn't have to be rested on top. Sometimes that can create a little too much intensity. Wherever you are, give yourself 2 more expansive breaths from the bottom up and all the way back down. Find your pace. Now, if the foot's still resting on top, we're all gonna take that foot and just slowly drop it all the way down to the ground, keeping the knees tilted to the right side, so you're kind of on the sides of your feet. Okay, now the legs are gonna be staggered here. They shouldn't be stacked on top of each other. Okay, they're kind of standing free from each other, still tilted to the side, but we're gonna open up deeper into our lower back here. So left hand's gonna reach up towards the ceiling. And as your left hand reaches up, you're gonna roll up onto your right shoulder, reaching the left fingertips away from you and then all the way down to the ground. Okay, now on this variation, I want you to imagine you're trying to roll your chest towards the ground. It does not have to get anywhere close as you walk your left fingertips away from you. Now your left fingertips can either walk away at that same angle or you can play with the angle. Maybe walk the fingers overhead, play with it a little bit, feel that stretch away from your body and where you feel the most sensation and opening. Give yourself, once again, just a few breaths here. Feel connected to what it is that you're doing. We're not just waiting for the next pose. We're here right now, so enjoy it. One more full breath. Walking those left fingertips back in until you can slowly melt your shoulders back to the ground and just letting your left arm fall back out to that left side. And then let's swivel the knees back to center, walk the feet back in towards each other, and just nice little windshield wipers. Just rock the knees side to side. You're gonna feel that natural craving to want your knees to go to that left side. We will get there. We'll go through that same process, keeping everything nice and balanced. So, as the knees shift back up to center, feet planted on the ground, we're gonna cross left ankle over the top of the right thigh. Same exact setup. Bring your left hand to the inside of that left thigh, and let's just slowly start kind of opening it away from us and swinging it back in. Pressing open, and then letting it close back into a squared position. Just do that a couple rounds. Especially if this is your first movement of the day, really focus on this slow movement connected with your breath to kind of help lubricate your joints for the day. Now on your next opening of the hip, let's hold it here. Feel what's present. If this is enough, stay. Otherwise, release the thigh, lift your right foot off the ground and weave your hands through, catch the back of that right thigh, or wrap the fingers and connect them around the front of that shin. Same thing, keeping the hips nice and rooted on the ground. And as you draw the legs closer to the chest, make sure to take that unnecessary tension out. Whatever effort you don't need, let it go. Soften your shoulders, soften your forehead, relax your jaw. Whatever you can, let yourself kind of surrender into this stretch. If you did want that little extra kick of intensity, shift the legs a couple inches over to that right side. Nice and heavy through your sacrum. Feel that Ujjayi breath. One more here. If you shifted a little bit, bring it back to center. Keep the legs crossed. If the legs lifted, slowly release right foot back down, flat to the floor. Open the arms out to a T, straight out from the shoulders. And then walk that right foot over to the right side of your mat. Once it touches the edge of the mat, let your legs slowly start draping over to that left side. Maybe walk the right foot over a little bit more to create more opening to drop into. Now, same thing, if this doesn't feel good and your left side and right side might be completely different. Sometimes they feel like strangers. You can stay or make those adjustments to accommodate this side. They do not have to be the same variations. Let yourself just enjoy this nice opening. Let's take one more nice expansive breath. If your left foot is still on top, let's bring it down to the ground. But keep knees tilted to that left side. So once you have that, right hand is gonna reach up towards the ceiling and then slowly roll up onto your left shoulder, reaching right fingertips away and all the way down to the ground. Same thing as before, keep walking those fingers away at whatever angle feels good, as though you're rolling your chest towards the ground, and feel that nice stretch. Two more breaths. Walking the fingers back in until you can roll shoulder blades to the ground, and then the right arm falls to the side. Slowly swivel the knees to center as you walk both feet in, and then windshield wiper side to side. Now we're gonna pull both knees back in towards the chest, and as you draw them in, pull them in as closely as you can. Give a couple rocks from left to right. Nice tight little ball. Okay, we are gonna come up to a seated position. A couple different options for getting there. First option is grab the backs of your thighs. All right, so you can either start to rock forward and back until you have enough momentum to come up to a seated position. Okay, or you can simply roll over to a side of your choice. Use your top hand to press into the floor and come all the way up to a seat. Now, once you're seated, come to the top of the mat, cross the legs in any way that feels comfortable for you. And with the legs crossed, lift the spine up nice and tall, lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Pull the shoulder blades back, keep the spine lifted as you melt the shoulders down the back. Let's draw the hands together at your heart center. Feel your heart slightly lifting up towards your thumbs as the shoulders melt down the back. Soften the muscles in your face, and once again, feel that nice Ujjayi breath connection. And through this moment of stillness, we're going to set an intention to guide us through practice today. And I want your intention to be whatever it is that you feel called to connect to. Let it be the first thing that pops up in your mind. Maybe it's practicing more letting go, finding more stillness. Maybe that's pushing through. Whatever kind of comes to your mind, let your intuition guide you. Take a deep breath to help seal this intention. In and out of the nose. Now, gently blinking open through your eyes. Spine stays nice and tall. Inhale, reach your arms up nice and high over your head, lifting your spine. Exhale, twist to the right side. Left hand is going to connect to that outer right knee. Right fingertips to the ground, right behind your hips. Keep the weight in your hips. Lift your spine up nice and tall on a deep breath in. Keep that elongation and exhale, gently rotate open to that right side. Maybe look back over your right shoulder. You're gonna give yourself a few more breaths here and really connect the breath with the motion. So inhale, lifting a little bit higher, maybe come a little out of the twist to create more space for the breath. And then exhale, as you empty the breath out of the body, you're letting yourself move a little deeper into that twist, but we're not forcing, we're feeling the breath's guidance. Inhaling lifts you taller, move at your own pace. Your breath doesn't have to match mine exactly. Exhaling, you're moving in a little deeper. Let's take one more on your own and recognize that that twist, that deepening is gonna come more from the ribs and chest area. Now you're gonna continue to hold on to that knee with your left hand. I like to cup over that knee to get a nice good grip. Take your back fingertips, reach them up towards the ceiling, lifting the spine a little bit taller, deep breath in. And then exhale, you're gonna lean up to that left side, getting a nice side body stretch as you reach the right fingertips over your head. Now you're holding on to that knee to kind of hold you in place as you stretch away from it. One more breath. Inhale, come all the way up, release the knee as you unravel the spine to center, stretch your arms high over your head. And then goalpost arms, begin to bend your elbows, opening them up nice and wide, like nice little 90-degree angles. Pulling the elbows back to open up the chest more. And then slowly start to lift your heart, maybe tip your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then keep the elbows pulling back as they slowly pull down to your sides. And then fingertips sweep all the way down, spine re-neutralizes. Inhale, stretch your arms high over your head. And this time, exhale, we're gonna twist to the left side. Right hand connects to the left knee, left fingertips to the ground, right behind the hip line. Lift the spine on your next breath in, really draw up through the crown of your head. And then exhale, rotate open, ribs and chest. Couple more breaths, lifting taller, deep breath in. And then rotate, deep breath out. Take a couple more. Once again, move at your own pace of breath. Find your appropriate depth. Last one. Continue to hold on to the knee. Back fingertips stretch up. Take a deep breath in. Lift the spine a little taller. And then exhale, lean off to the right side. Stretch the fingers over your head. Reaching nice and long. Feel the heaviness in your left hip. stretching away from that left hip. Get that nice length all the way from the hip, up the side, all the way up into the arm. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach both arms high as your spine gently unravels. Same thing, bend your elbows, pull them back nice and wide. Open up the chest, hold here. Feel the heart lifting, maybe tip the gaze up. And then keep the elbows drawing back as you slowly pull them down to your side. Spine up neutral. Pull the shoulders forward and up towards the ears. Spine stays lifted, and then exhale, draw the shoulders back and down. Cup the hands over your knees. We're gonna do some seated cat-cow motions. So on your next breath in, as you cup the knees, pull your ribs forward, chest draws forward and up, sit bones start to drop back, creating nice extension in your spine. And then exhale, you're gonna round. Curl the chin to your chest, start to curl your shoulders, your back, tuck your tail under, maybe even lean back into it, holding onto the knees. Inhale, scoops you forward and up. And exhale, rounds you out. Moving on your own now, from one to the next. Maybe you stick with these really kind of traditional movements of forward and back. But I encourage you here to start kind of playing with a little bit of motion. Close your eyes. Maybe create little circles in your hips, circles in your shoulders. Don't worry about what you're doing, how it looks. Just let yourself kind of move in past the kinks. Feel the tight areas. Feel your pelvic bowl, feel your spine. And then slowly come back up into a nice neutral position. Okay, we're gonna stretch both legs nice and long in front of us. Now we're gonna have some great example here because we're gonna open up into our hamstrings. Now, depending on your flexibility in the hamstrings, okay, with your legs stretched outward, okay, you're gonna go ahead and lean to one side and just imagine you're trying to pull back your sit bones. Okay, if you're not sure what your sit bones are, there's little bones underneath the butt cheeks. If you pull them out of the way, it helps to kind of create a little bit of leverage to get a tipping of the pelvis. Now, you might still have a nice curvature of your lower back. Okay, and if this is the case, and in fact, we'll all start together so that we go through these steps together. Let's all take a little bend into these. Come forward as much as you can, hands to the ground, and imagine walking your butt back. And as you walk your butt back, you're creating more length in your lower back. It's exactly what we're looking for here. We just want to get a nice pelvic positioning. Now from here, then you can slowly come all the way up, spine up nice and tall. You can walk the fingers wherever you need. Now, contrary to popular belief, your legs don't have to be fully straightened to stretch your hamstrings. So you can stay right here the entire time. This is perfectly fine. Otherwise, you can slowly start to kick your heels forward. Don't let your hips move. Kick your heels forward until you feel that stretch into your hamstrings. Toes continue to pull back so we get length into the calf muscles as well. Staying right here, or maybe the legs fully extend outward, but notice the lower back stays nice and long. I'm not kicking forward and compromising the position by curling my spine, okay? Spine up nice and tall, lower back is nice and lifted. Stay here, or if you want a little bit more, you can start to walk the fingers down the length of the legs. Maybe they connect to your legs, your ankles, your feet, whatever's available. But I want you to work on extending your lower back out and then feeling that extension pull all the way out through the chest. So the chest is lengthening away from your hips. The hips are pulling back behind you. And then you're extending forward through your heels and pulling the toes back, creating as much length as possible. 2 more deep breaths. One more here. Slowly start to come all the way back upright into a nice seat. Drop your hands back behind you to kind of alleviate some of that pressure off of the hamstrings. Bend the knees and little windshield wipers. My favorite way to relax the hips and the lower back. Alrighty, we are going to make our way into a tabletop position. So when you're ready, couple options. You can either just sweep the legs around to the side to come onto all fours, or if flexibility allows, cross your shins or ankles, pull them in, and just rock forward over the knees and then uncross, okay? Take this off here. Now, once you're on all fours in a nice tabletop position, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees, okay? We're gonna take the right leg, slowly extend it back nice and long behind you, float it up parallel with the ground, and reach out through the heel, toes down. Now, slowly start to angle the toes to the right side. Little bit of hip mobility here. You're gonna kick the leg out to the right side, but keep it lifted as high away from the ground as you can. Now imagine there's a string attached to your pinky toe, pulling it straight up towards the ceiling. Hold one more breath. Keep it out to the side, slowly lower it all the way down to the ground. Now, once the foot is down, plant it, but you can always walk it further away or closer in, depending on what your body needs. So we're gonna slowly start to lean our weight back towards the back heel. I like to tuck the back toes personally, but do what feels right for you. And as you lean back, you're gonna feel a nice stretch into that inner hip and groin, to those adductors. And then slowly come forward. And come forward as much as it feels good. And then you're gonna slowly start to sink back again. Now just kind of move at your own pace. Nice full breath rhythm. And we're gonna add on from here. So next time that you sink your weight back towards the heel, I want you to pause here, continue to breathe. And then you're gonna allow yourself to roll up onto the heel, toes start to now angle up towards the ceiling. So you're lifting the bottom of the foot up, toes up, and you're sinking back into it. Now, come forward, replant the foot. Now, as you come forward, you can adjust the hands as much as you need to kind of walk them away as needed to let your hips come more forward. And what I want you to do here is you're gonna start to come up onto the toes, lifting the heel. And you're gonna wanna turn away from your foot and let the hips kind of sink towards the ground. And then bring it back, plant the foot. Maybe walk the hands back, sit back, and roll up onto the heel, toes up. And then come forward, walk the hands away, lift the heel, and then slowly let the hip melt in as you turn away. Now move at your own pace between the two. If that doesn't feel good, don't worry, you can take whatever variation does. But overall, just kind of recognizing how the body connects together, especially the connection between the foot and the angles that the foot takes in correlation with the hip movement. How it helps to emphasize more movement, more range of motion in the hip just by angling with the foot. All right, next time you come back into more of a neutral with your spine, sweep the right leg back and then just bring it down to meet the left. And real quick, connect the big toes, knees wide or together, sink into a child's pose. Hips back towards the heels, relax your spine, forehead down. Couple breaths here, just kind of ground. All right, when you're ready, let's come back up into your tabletop position. As you know what's coming, that left side. Slowly begin to stretch your left leg back, parallel with the ground. Extend that energy long through the heel. Notice if you're drooping down through the ribs. Keep your core tight. Angle the toes to the left, and then slowly kick your leg out to the left side. Keep it lifted towards the ceiling as much as you can. Now you're feeling those abductors turn on. Keeping the leg out to the side, slowly lower the foot all the way down to the ground. Adjust it as needed. Maybe tuck your right toes if you like that variation, and then slowly start to sink your weight back. Keep that left foot planted to begin so you can feel the differences between moving your foot and not moving your foot. And then you're gonna come forward, link with your breath. You're just gonna slowly start to melt forward and back. At least a couple rounds before we start playing with the foot movement. Now, next time your hips drop back towards the heel, let's go ahead and roll up onto the left heel, toes point up towards the ceiling. And then as you come forward, plant the foot, maybe walk the hands forward and off to the right side. As you lift up onto the toes, heel up, and maybe sink the hips down, looking over the right shoulder. And then just start to move back and forth. Use your hands to help guide the motion. Feel the connection of your foot, its movements, along with the hip. Notice if there's little snags and catches. Move with ease, try not to be forceful through them. Let's go at least one more round here. And then slowly come back neutral with your spine, shoulders over wrists, sweep the left leg back, and then bring it down to meet the right. Child's pose. Once again, knees wide or together, let the hips drop back and down, spine relaxes, head relaxes. Find your breath. Slowly come forward, tabletop position. You're gonna tuck the toes. We're gonna take our first downward facing dog of this practice. So lift the hips up and back, find nice length into the spine. Adjust the hands or feet accordingly. But you want the hands firmly planted, the fingers spread out nice and wide, melting the heels in the direction of the ground, but the legs do not have to straighten. So I'm gonna get up for a moment, but Logan is gonna stay right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and show some lines that I'm looking for here. So ultimately, we want a nice, long spine. Right here, we have a little rounding in the lower back. So what we're gonna do is bend the knees more. Keep the knees bent, keep your hands where they are, and imagine the hips drawing up and back to create more length into the lower back. Okay, if you need to, you can also step the feet back a little bit more, bend the knees more, and then lift those hips. There we go, perfect. Ribs draw in, fingers spread wide, core is engaged. Beautiful shape. Take a deep breath in here. Come up onto the toes, start to look towards the hands. And then exhale, you're gonna walk your way to the top of the mat into a forward fold position. Take your time, get there as you need. Feet about hips width apart, parallel to each other. Generous bend into the knees and just let your spine spill over. Let your head just kind of dangle here, nice and loose through your neck. Hands can either stay heavy on the ground or grab a hold of your opposite elbows. Creates a little extra weight with gravity. And just maybe sway a little side to side. If you're feeling pretty open, you want to go deeper, you want to hold the backs of your legs and hug in, that's an option as well. Take another breath. Now come back to center if you're swaying. Let your arms drop heavy. We're gonna roll up one bone at a time. The head is gonna be the very last thing to come up. So keep the neck nice and loose. Slowly start to tuck the tail as though you're trying to reach it towards the floor. Roll up through your lower back. Slowly roll up through your mid back, stacking the spine one bone at a time. Upper back. Shoulders start to lift up and back. Neck starts to lift, head starts to come up. Now once the head comes up, let's lift the shoulders forward and up, spine lifts a little taller, draw the shoulders back, and then release the shoulders all the way down. All right, so now we're gonna move into some sun salutations. These are gonna be modified, super accessible, moving nice and slow. Take it at your own pace. So standing at the top of your mat if you're not already, rooting into your feet. Arms reach up, take a deep breath in, maybe slightly lift the chest, open it at the top of the breath. And then exhale, forward fold. Hinge at your waist. Feel free to bend the knees as generously as you'd like. Let your body spill all the way down. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. Maybe your hands press into your shins to lengthen even more. Imagine bringing your spine parallel with the ground if that helps. And then exhale, plant the palms down to the ground. And you're gonna slowly step your left foot towards the back of the mat. So we're in this nice lunge type shape here. If you need to come up onto your fingertips, you can come up onto the fingertips. But I want you to just kind of start to sink forward and back in this lunge. Just kind of feel the front of the hips, feel your hamstrings. Your legs don't have to fully straighten or bend to any specific degree. Just feel it out for yourself. And then we're all gonna slowly lower that left knee all the way down to the ground and untuck the toes. Now, really important here, notice my front knee is stacked directly over ankle. So we will walk the foot forward if needed until we get that nice stacking, okay? Left hand is gonna plant down or fingertips. If you'd like a block and you have one at home, you can use that as well. You're gonna press into that with the left hand and then slowly open up your ribs and chest. Right hand stretches to the ceiling. So try not to collapse into your bottom shoulder, but instead press the ground away so you're lifting up and away from it. A couple breaths here. Really feel that opening through the ribs and chest especially. The top arm is not pulling you open. It's just extending naturally from the twist that you're in. Now, if you do want a little extra, bend your back knee, lifting that foot, and maybe your top hand even reaches back and grabs a hold of the foot if that's there. If not, don't you worry about it. Stay right where it feels good. One more breath, whatever variation you're in. Okay, if you are holding the foot, release the urge to slingshot your foot. We're gonna release with control instead. And then everyone take that right hand, bring it all the way back down to either side of that foot with your hands. Nice. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee off the ground. And then we're just gonna step back, downward facing dog. Pedal out the legs a little bit if you need. Now, inhale, come up onto the toes. You're gonna look forward towards the hands. Exhale, empty your breath. Slowly walk your way to the top of the mat, any way that feels right. Lengthening your spine, deep breath in, halfway lift position. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to standing any way you'd like, either rolling up or nice flat back, guiding you all the way up, arms reach, chest lifts. And then exhale, hands to your heart center. Let them drop down to your sides. Okay, now you know what's coming, that other side. Let's inhale, arms reach up, stretching up through the chest. And exhale, forward fold all the way down, nice flat back until you round over. Halfway lift, breath in, long spine. Plant the fingers or hands, step your right foot all the way back. Find that nice lunge where the knee stacks nicely over that ankle. And then kind of just start to come forward and back. Play a little bit with the movement. We did the movement with the leg out to the side, and now we get to feel it a little bit more on this plane of motion. Then let's all drop that back knee down. Release the toes. Right hand plants or fingertips, or use a block if you have one. Press into the ground, open up your ribs and chest, left hand high. Nice little twist, open out from that shoulder. Stay here or bend the back knee and catch the foot with your top hand. Same thing, rotating open through your ribs and your chest. One more deep breath. If you have the foot with control, release it down. Left hand comes all the way back down, frame the foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee off the ground. Step back, downward dog. Take a deep breath in, lift high up onto the toes. Look forward. Make your way to the top of the mat, however you'd like. Long spine, deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing and reach up tall. Open up your chest at the top of the breath. And then exhale, hands through heart. And then down to your sides. Okay. Let's separate the feet, the width of the mat. Let the toes angle out away from each other. Hands to heart center, but if at any time you need your hands for assistance, you can take your hands to your thighs or hands down to the ground and lower yourself into the position. We're gonna count to 10 to lower all the way down into a squat position. Now, before we do it, quickly show, as you lower into a squat, your squat might be here, okay? This is a high squat. You can stay right here, just count to 10 to get here, and this is perfectly fine. Otherwise, we're gonna try to sink all the way down into a low squat, okay? This is gonna be a little bit more flexibility. This is gonna be a little bit more strength. Choose what your body wants to do, okay? So counting to 10, hands to heart center unless you need to use them. 1, begin to bend the knees. 2, 3, 4. Now 5 is your halfway point. 6, assess. 7, 8, 9, 10. Settle into whatever variation you're in. If you're in a low squat, elbows to inner thighs. If you're in a high squat, elbows over the thighs. Okay, try to open up the thighs as much as you can. Give a little sway side to side between your feet. All right. If you need to come in and out of this position, if it's uncomfortable, you're more than welcome to. We're just gonna hold here 2 more deep breaths. Chest up nice and tall if you're rocking. And we're all gonna just open up our arms to the best of our abilities and imagine pressing the thighs open. 1 more breath. Fingertips down to the ground. Now, if your hips are pretty tight, I'd suggest walk your hands forward, then lean in, lift the hips up, walk the feet back in towards each other, shake out the legs a little bit, and then walk the hands back into a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. This time, you're gonna take the back foot and you're gonna roll it open to a 90-degree angle. Okay, so the toes point to the side of the mat now. Inhale, warrior 2. We're gonna come all the way up. The front knee is bent, trying to get as deep of a bend as you can up to a 90-degree angle. You don't have to be there, but working towards that. Hips are nice and level, sinking in, and the front thigh is rolling open, okay? Hold this position, a few more breaths. We got nice shape here. Now, one thing we wanna look for is that the front arm and the back arm are parallel. So here, we're gonna lift that back arm just a little higher, then we're gonna release some tension from those shoulders, gazing over the front hand. Front thigh is rolling out towards the pinky toe side. Beautiful. 1 more breath. From warrior 2, begin to straighten out your front leg. We're gonna move into triangle position. Reaching forward, keep reaching, reaching, stretch out that lower side body, and then set the right fingertips, maybe to your thigh, or below your knee to your shin. Try not to press into your knee. Now from here, take your top hand, bring it to your hip. Okay, just for the sake of getting into it, I want you to roll your chest towards the ceiling, as though you're trying to twist your chest towards the ceiling. And then pull your entire back body back, so you're opening up space in front of you. And then stretch your left hand up. Holding here, few deep breaths. Legs are straight, but try not to lock your front knee into place. We wanna have a little bit of movement there, or at least not just relying on the joint for stability. 1 more breath. Beautiful shapes. Strong legs. Look down for balance. Inhale, you're gonna come all the way up, flip your front palm, and just stretch that right hand up, maybe slightly overhead. Back hand can rest to the back leg. Or you can take your left hand, wrap it around your lower back, and just kind of use it as a little half bind. 1 more breath. Now, slowly start to bend the front knee and cartwheel the hands all the way down to frame your front foot. Pivot on your back foot to lift the heel, squaring the hips, and then step forward to the front. Nice, long spine, deep breath in. Step your right foot to the back. Nice long lunge position. Front knee over the ankle, step the back foot 90 degrees. And then from there, inhale, come all the way up into warrior two. So same thing, nice strong foundation. Feet are set up nicely, rising from there. So bend into the front knee, roll the thigh out, hips are level, pressing evenly into both of your feet, spine lifts tall, arms reach out, both arms parallel to the floor, gazing over the front left middle finger. Relax your face. Let's take at least another breath here. Inhale, straighten out the front leg. Once again, try not to lock it into place, but engage the quad. Reach forward, reach, 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 reach. Then left hand drops down, either thigh or shin. Right hand to your hip for now. And then roll your ribs and chest open towards the ceiling. And then the right hand reaches up. Nice. Now same thing, try not to collapse into your bottom shoulder. Press that left hand into the leg and lift almost out of that shoulder. Nice. One more breath. Looking down at the floor, find a focal point for balance. Strong legs. Inhale, come all the way up, flip that left palm, and then reach that left hand up and over your head. Once again, right hand can rest at the thigh for support or wrap around the lower back. Nice little half bind. One more breath. And then slowly bend the front knee, cartwheel the hands down to the ground. Pivot on the back foot to lift the heel. This time you're gonna step back, drop the knees, child's pose. Sink back towards the heels, relax your spine. So that was the extent of the intensity for the practice. So if you're feeling a lot of heat in the body, you worked up a little sweat, great job. Feel free to just let yourself kind of relax, and knowing the rest of the practice is using that warmth that you created to help melt into your muscles a little bit deeper. We don't have too much time left, so a couple deep breaths. We're gonna slowly come forward onto our bellies. So you can rock forward, walk the legs back, slowly make your way into a nice prone position. Elbows underneath your shoulders for Sphinx position. Now from here, palms down, fingers spread wide, grip the ground, activate your legs, quads engaged, and then you're gonna pull the ground towards you. As you pull the ground towards you, you're gonna feel your ribs drawing forward between the upper arm bones, lifting your heart up. Take another breath or two. Now relax, open up the elbows, lowering the chest, and you're gonna pull your hands back underneath your shoulders, or I like to line my hands up lower on my rib cage. So you can line your thumbs up with your lower ribs, anywhere along your rib cage or directly under your shoulders, whatever feels best. Elbows in, legs stay actively pressing down towards the ground. We're gonna do 3 rounds of Cobra. You lift as high as you'd like each time. So inhale, lift your chest forward and up, your first variation, Cobra. Exhale, right back down. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one, inhale, lift. Hold it here, give yourself a couple breaths. If you need to back off a little bit, back off, but you're gonna take the shoulders, if they're pinching up, pull them back, maybe soften the elbows a little bit to draw the shoulders down back. One more breath. Exhale, come all the way down. Real quick, right hand reaches out to the right side, palm down. You're gonna rest the right side of your face down to the ground, okay? Keep it there, but I'm just gonna lift my head to speak to you. Bend your left knee, and then you're gonna press to your left hand and roll onto your right side body. Maybe walk the fingers away from you a little bit as you do, and just let that foot kind of drape to the ground behind you. Now, if that doesn't feel good, you could just stack the legs on top of each other. Perfectly fine. Otherwise, foot flat to the ground. You can stay here, opening up the front side of your body, or left hand can reach up and around to your lower back. Your choice. Just take another breath. If the hand's behind the back, slowly bring it back in front of you. Rolling back onto your belly and hips. Switch arms. Left arm reaches left, right hand underneath the right shoulder. Drop the left cheek to the ground. Bend your right knee. And then press yourself onto your left side body. Maybe walk the left fingertips away a little bit. Create more space in the shoulder. Right foot can drop to the ground behind you, or once again, rest right leg on top of left leg. Try to open up the front of your body as much as you can. Maybe drop the right arm up and around to your lower back, if that's what feels right. Now, if you adjusted the right hand, bring it back over. Slowly roll back over onto your belly and onto your hips. Okay. Now from here, just reach your left hand in front of you, palm up, right hand stays underneath the shoulder, and just flip onto your back, and then adjust onto your mat. Okay, we're gonna just finish up here with a little happy baby, and then relaxation. So a little bit of hips, we already did a little in the spine. So knees towards chest, reach your hands through the insides of your legs. Now, if you can't quite grab your feet, you can grab anywhere along the legs, such as ankle, shin, or just holding open into the thighs. Otherwise, hands grab the feet, either inside or outside is just fine. And as you pull down, keep the backs of the hips down. Once again, don't let them curl up. We want to keep the stretch in the hips. We're not trying to bring tension into the lower back. Give a little swaying side to side. And then Shavasana. As you come to center, you're going to release your feet all the way out in front of you. Nice and long. Maybe let them spill off the mat. I want you to kind of shake out the legs. Arms fall out. Maybe kind of wiggle out any little bits of tension or discomfort that you might be feeling. Let the eyes close. Relax the breath a little bit. Just feel yourself come into more of a place of ease. And exhale, let all of your breath out. Slow breath in through the nose, fill up the belly, ribs, chest, hold. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Again, slow breath in from the bottom, all the way up to the top. Keep the breath through the nose, exhale empty from the top, ribs, down through the belly. Last one, slow breath, lifting high. If it feels good this time, just open your mouth. And exhale, let everything out. Feel a softness, a relaxation, a full surrendered state. Let your body melt down into the ground. Let your mind spill out any last thoughts. Not attached. And just take the next couple of minutes to just let yourself enjoy. Start to move a little bit through your fingers, your toes as you deepen your breath. If you want a little longer in your Shavasana, this is a video. You can always hit pause or just ignore my words and enjoy your stillness as long as you like. Otherwise, rotate wrists and ankles, starting to work up the limbs a little bit, rock your head side to side, maybe bend a little into the elbows and knees. And just like we started, arms stretch over your head, legs stretch forward in front of you, shift into the hips a little bit. We're gonna do just real quick twist, right knee to the chest, left hand to the knee, and exhale, pull that knee over to the left as your right arm reaches to the right side. Just one breath. Inhale, bring it to center. Exhale, release the right leg long. Inhale, left knee lifts up, right hand connects, left arm to the side. And then exhale, twist. Pull it over to the right side and down, left shoulder blade stays heavy, one breath. Now you're gonna stay here, but take your extended leg, your right leg, bend the knee up so it's underneath that left knee, and then take your left hand all the way over to that right side into a fetal position. Press your left hand into the ground, lean into it, and come all the way up to a seat, spinning around to face forward. I will face towards you. Spine up tall, shoulders relaxed, hands draw together, heart center. And just come back to that place of intention. Maybe set something new to carry with you throughout your day. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide today. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being a part of this. I would love to have feedback, any things you experienced throughout the class that I could help you with for the future. So happy to help you guys. Thank you, Logan, for your demonstrations as well. Please feel free to hit subscribe. I will have more videos coming. And like I said, I'm catering these videos to you. So any suggestions, tips, or tricks for the future, anything you'd like to learn, I am here to serve you. Hit the subscribe button and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you.